Hello guys, it's John with doing another Beyblade unboxing. So we have WhaleWave. The box is folded because I ordered it from Japan and they tend to fold the boxes up when they import them. Anyway, it's a shipping cost thing that they do, but yeah, anyway. I'm not gonna bother folding this thing back up. It's always really annoying to fold, but yeah, she's not listed on the box, but Mako, the same owner as Shark Edge, is the owner of this bay as well, which is pretty cool. Anyway, let's go into the actual stuff here. At this, and I got the bags all here, and as I open these up, apparently WhaleWave as well as Lightning Drago are still like harder to get. Apparently they didn't make enough of them, kind of like with Wave 1 of Beyblade X, and yeah, there's just not enough, so these have been kind of hard to come by. They'll be fine pretty soon here, I'm sure, but like, that's why I imported these, because I just could not get them normally, so yeah, hopefully that situation is like dealt with by the time this video comes out, but guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, go ahead and get into the actual bay here, the important part of the video. So we'll start off with 580. This is a reprint part. We saw this on Viper Tail for the first time like a year ago, so looks pretty cool. Kind of like an indigo color, lighter, darker. Yeah, pretty neat. I mean, it works. It's a 5-sided bay. Yeah, anyway. Now we get to a very interesting part, and this is the Elevate bit. So Elevate is very interesting, also very weird looking, but man, anyway. The Elevates have this little like flat-ish part in the middle here, then a bigger flat part around it, and then you have these gears, which are very interesting. It's kind of a slower bit. It's a balance type bit, which is interesting. We'll get to that in a second, but a bit slower in terms of speed, but it does move around the stadium, and yeah, it's a pretty weird bay. To compare real quick, let me grab my Cobalt Drake here, just as an example bay, but the flat, you can see the gears here, they look much different. So the whole thing with the Elevate is it's supposed to move the bay upwards, so when it moves on the extreme line, it kind of is meant to like go upwards, and I guess this part's kind of meant to help it, like this big like disc thing is meant to like help it kind of move up on the extreme line, so when it flies off the extreme line, it's actually a bit off the ground and kind of jumps at the opponent from the extreme line. Very interesting gimmick, very good use of the extreme line. Probably my favorite bit so far in Beyblade X from a gimmick standpoint, because I think that just utilizes this new concept very well, and does it in an interesting way. I mean, being able to kind of jump off the extreme line, very cool gimmick. You can't do that in anything prior to Beyblade X, so yeah, very, very cool concept for a bit, for sure. Really a big fan of this one. This is only a BX bay too. Like, you think this would be a UX gimmick, but I guess not. And then there's also the main bay here, WhaleWave. So yeah, WhaleWave has a pretty cool motif there. Interesting design. It is 5-sided, but yeah, you can see on these edges, this thing is crazy. This shape is like ridiculous. Yeah, it has like a pretty powerful smash attack point here. This thing I've heard is like a pretty good blade for that. So yeah, probably recoil heavy, but yeah, this thing's a very dynamic blade. Again, kind of surprised it's just a BX blade, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I guess this might be a better orientation for it, but yeah, anyway. Very interesting blade, and we'll talk about this more in a second, because this whole kind of combo relates to itself, and I'll get to that in a moment, but first, let's go and do weights. I would just like to do this a little earlier on, but yeah, anyway. 580, we've seen this one before. It's 7.27 grams, okay. How much is Elevate? This is probably a heavier bit, I'd assume. Yeah, 3.2524, okay. And this blade hurts heavy. Is it heavy? Yes, it is. 38.18, that's a very heavy blade. So, not only is it going to be good for attack, just based on the shape, but yeah, the weight as well, this thing's going to be kind of wild, I feel, so. Then altogether, even without the bit, this thing's already heavy. Jeez, okay, with the bit, 48.69 grams. Already pushing 50, that's kind of insane. This might be the heaviest stock combo so far, actually. Pretty wild. Now getting into the bay, like the full combo. Putting this thing together, we got the ratchet and then the bit. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention. I mentioned this is a balance type. There is no extra resistance on this bit, which is very cool actually, because while yeah, it kind of does suck to not have the extra resistance, it does open up the possibility to have crazier bits, I feel. Because before, attack and balance types always had the extra resistance. Stamina and defense types never did. I hope this means that maybe we'll see more dynamic parts, like attack I imagine will always have the resistance, but like maybe stamina and defense, like especially defense, maybe we can get some crazier parts that do have the resistance. And in balance, you can maybe, again, make some weirder stuff, go crazy. You don't have to be kind of limited to this like weird pseudo attack type of bit, or see it with things like taper. So you can get crazy here potentially. That'd be cool, but yeah, just an interesting note. Anyway, here is the full stock combo. Of course, is WhaleWave, 580 elevate. So this whole combo is meant to work with itself because, of course, kind of you jump upwards, which is very cool. Has the extra height as well, and that height is meant to pair into the blade here, which it's meant to give some crazy smash attacks. So yeah, it's kind of just this bit that's meant to be tall and uses that pretty effectively. The only downside is, yes, it does have a burst risk. Again, bit of a downside of having elevate with no burst resistance. But again, I think it might be a little bit overpowered if it didn't have that sort of restriction. But anyway, yeah, it is kind of a drawback because, well, if you want to use this bay with its full gimmicks and stuff, you do have the burst risk, but it is really good. Elevate itself, I think, like for competitive stuff, like without the resistance is a bit questionable. But I know WhaleWave as a blade is really good. But yeah, I just like the idea and concept. I don't really care about competitive personally, so I just like the concepts of bays, and I'm a big fan of what this bay actually tries to do. So yeah, as far as my kind of rating goes, just purely based on the aesthetic of this bay, I think it looks really nice. Almost reminds me a bit of like Neptune from Beyblade Burst, actually. I got the teal. I mean, this is like a magenta-ish gear chip. Got some purple going on. I know Neptune had some like stickers like that, so reminds me a bit of that. Not exactly, but still gives me some Neptune vibes. In terms of appearance, I do think it's kind of crazy. I actually like this one quite a bit. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's nothing like insane, but I mean, elevate's pretty notable. 580 I think makes it stand out a bit as well. I like the shape of the blade, just the look, the color scheme. Nothing outstanding to me, but it is still good, so I'll give it a 7. In terms of the gimmicks, honestly, I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10. I think it's like really, really good. I think having a bit like that really does, wonders for this thing. I will say though, like, yeah, you have a taller bay, you got the kind of crazy, attack pattern on the blade here. Which does work with elevate pretty well, but yeah, I don't think it's quite a 10 for me. But it's really cool, and the bit is definitely kind of hard carrying here, I'm not going to lie. Which is kind of why I don't want to give it a 10, but it works fine enough. So I'm still going to give it a 9 anyway. I think it's great. So yeah, I really like this bay a lot, for sure. Very, very nice bay. And kind of the end, I don't know if we're going to have like a proper Season 2 for Beyblade X. It kind of just looks like it might just keep going as Beyblade X. It might just be a long-running name, honestly. We'll have to wait and see, but if that's the case, I guess this is the final, like, I guess, quote-unquote, Year 1, Season 1 bay in that case, but yeah, what a way to end, I guess. But yeah, it's a really nice bay. Very, very nice addition to Beyblade X, for sure. I'm just glad to get, like, a crazier gimmick with something like Elevate, but yeah. That's what I have to say about this bay, so yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.